If your RV doesn't have a slide out, or you're looking for an RV with no slide out, you really don't need to pay too much attention to today's video. But if your RV has, or you're looking at one with one of these things, stick around, you might save yourself a lot of headache. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here with a little helpful tip for you today. Our goal is not just to sell you an RV. Like, if you have an RV or you're wanting to buy an RV, we want to help you keep that thing out of the shop, to enjoy it to its maximum amount and potentially get the most you can, whether it's resale or trade value when you're done with it. And one of the things there is upkeep, and something that isn't talked about a lot is seal maintenance, specifically slide seals. There's kind of some misinformation out there, and it's a little bit of a controversial thing because depending on who you talk to, there's different people have different opinions on how you should maintain these things, how often. And something that we've kind of found, especially on a lot of older trades, is folks are using the wrong stuff to maintain and condition their slide seals. So I'm hoping I can help myth bust a little bit of this for you today and help you avoid some of those big costly headaches that come in the form of leaks from improperly maintained slide seals. So if you appreciate the little helpful tips, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. Well, how often should you be doing this? How big of a deal even is it? Well, it sort of depends on who you ask. Like, if you read a bunch of the stickers and manuals that come with RVs, it says things like you should inspect your seals every 30 days. A lot of them say stuff like that. When you hear that, you think, I have to clean these things every 30 days? No, not necessarily. You don't have to like do conditioner and stuff every 30 days. Inspect means you should kind of be looking at your seals every 30 days. And if they're grimy, if they're gunky, if they're dirty, clean them. And here's the funny thing. Keeping those slide seals clean is hands down the #1 most important thing, because if you keep all that dirt and particulate and stuff off those, every time the slide opens and closes, it's not grinding on and scratching down and scuffing these rubber seals, which, by the way, they're not rubber. We're going to circle back on that in a few minutes here, but we still call them that, and I obviously still do, even though I know they're not. So anyway, we all fall into that pitfall. But keeping them clean is hands down the most important thing. In fact, if you talk to the people that manufacture those seals, they pretty much say that's all you should do. You maybe don't even need to use things on them. But how often should you really be cleaning them? Obviously, you know, as they're dirty as they need them. The seals under the RV tend to get the most junk from, under the slides rather, tend to get the most junk from transit. So those are the ones that you'll want to definitely clean the most, which is important to remember because they're out of sight, so they're out of mind, and you have to get down. You have to crawl under these things. It's not fun to get down there, but it's a really good idea. At the very least, you know, if you can't do it every couple months or something like that, I would recommend, especially if you're in like a seasonal area like Michigan where we're at, doing it like each spring when you pull the RV out and each fall when you put the RV away. But like if you're a full-timer in sun country, that may not necessarily apply. So what I recommend is grabbing your phone and having it give you, give yourself a little reminder. Just be like, hey phone, remind me to clean my slide seals in 3 months.
Seriously? Do you need me to remember every single little thing for you every time? It's always remind me this, remind me that. Why can't you just act like an adult and keep track of some of the stuff yourself? Do you need me to remind you to wipe your butt every time you go to the bathroom? I didn't think so.
Excuse me, guys. I think Aunt Siri needs a break. Now, the idea of not using slide seal conditioner is almost the opposite of what all of us kind of expect in our talk. Frankly, I still feel weird about it. I had never been instructed that. Like, there's all these hundreds of products on the shelf or on Amazon or anything like that that are called RV slide seal conditioner. It sounds like something you're supposed to be using, and everyone has always told me that. But through our Wayfinder RV stuff, our exclusive RV brands to us here at Bish's RV, I've learned and talked to more OEMs about more things. And that's one of those things that really kind of surprised me. Not everyone subscribes to the belief that you should be using RV slide seal conditioners. #1 thing a lot of them say is you just got to keep them clean. Basically just lots of warm water, and a little bit of Dawn dish soap if you're feeling froggy, because that can help, you know, has a little bit of a degreaser in it, but you don't want to use a ton of it because there's stuff that if you don't really rinse it off can build up and cause dirt to stick to the slide seals, which defeats the whole purpose of cleaning them. The other thing here is this kind of reminded me, you see how that seal's halfway flipped out? First of all, we need to fix that. You don't want to see that. But secondly, another thing here is, remember that you have seals on the inside and outside of a slide. So you want to make sure you're cleaning both sides of that wiper seal and the seals on the inside of the RV. So clean everything you can out here, then run the slide about halfway closed, and then clean it again from the inside. Obviously, don't do that on a rainy day, because if a slide's only halfway in and out, it's not really sealing the proper way. And it doesn't matter what slide system you have. If you have a slide out, you have slide seals, because if you don't, you have a problem. So that's all the case. But I made a bit of a faux pas earlier. I referred to these as rubber seals. We call them rubber slide seals. And frankly, there's cleaners and conditioners called rubber slide sealant thing. Slide seals haven't been rubber for like 30 years, 20 to 30 years. But we still use those words because it looks and it feels like rubber. Actually, until I learned more about them fairly recently, I didn't even know they weren't rubber. I've been doing this a long time, so I can imagine a lot of people don't know that. Now, it's not that RVs don't use rubber seals. They have some rubber seals in a few different places, but we're talking slide seals today. So keep in mind, rubber seal conditioner may not be the best thing to use on effectively a plastic-based RV slide seal. And that's kind of the hiccup. If you use the wrong stuff on these, especially if you think it's made out of one material, but it's actually made out of another, you could accidentally be introducing an unintended chemical reaction that could literally end up eating the slide seals over time, because you mixed two different compounds together and they made contact and reacted in a way that you didn't want to have happen. So what should you use? What shouldn't you use? What you don't want to use are things with an oil base. So just something as simple as this, like, you know, growing up, this is always on Dad's workbench. If WD-40, a hammer, a screwdriver, or duct tape couldn't fix it, it couldn't be done. And this stuff, you know, or PB Blaster, something like that, can do an awesome job of a lot of things. But it's oil-based, and it can react in a way that you don't want it to. The other thing is the components, the ingredients of this stuff have a way of seeping into, potentially building up on RV slide seals, which can cause them to actually attract dirt. And again, that's the opposite thing of what you want. Well, it can be overwhelming when you got all these things out here. And like, I'm looking at that can of Camco rubber slide out conditioner. Even there it says rubber, like it's so conditioned into our heads, even though it's generally not. The thing that if you talk to the people who actually make the slide seals, and I've had a couple conversations with them, you should, if you're going to use a conditioner, it should be something with a water base. And one of the biggest things there is that it just does a better job of completely washing out and in not leaving residues that tend to build up and be tacky. Now, where it gets a little tricky and controversial is with things like this. Like, I actually went back and I found this on at least half of my RV tech benches. And it's, you know, 3-in-1 rubber seal conditioner. But there again, it's a rubber seal conditioner. Now, again, some RVs have rubber seals in certain places, but your slide seals generally are not, nor have they been since like the mid 90s. Like, this is something that changed over a long time ago. One of the reasons that this is maybe not recommended from the people that actually make and produce the slide seals is because it's aerosol based, and some aerosols have ingredients in them that can react with and literally eat away and deteriorate the plastic based RV bulb seals and wiper seals that we're discussing in this video. So it's not that rubber seal conditioner should never be found anywhere around an RV tech bench or anything like that. It's just that it should be used in the correct places. So where? I'm trying to remember. I think the little seals around things like entry doors, baggage door seals, I think a lot of times are actually still rubberized. So I guess the quick takeaway, the too long didn't read version of this, is keep them clean, and when in doubt, when it comes to conditioners, leave it out. And I hope you appreciate advice like that, because obviously we have the stuff on the shelf, and I'm sure we could make more money selling a bunch of it to you. And it's not to say that, like, if you've used slide conditioners and you're like, nah, I believe in this thing, great, cool, have a good time, use it. You do you, man, that's fine. You're an American, or possibly, I don't know, Canadian, watching this channel. I don't know where you're from, but if you got an RV, you can do with it whatever you want once you own it. But my goal, again, is not to ring the cash register, but to help come up with, you know, suggestions and advice on how you can do this thing better and have fewer problems and more fun doing it. And I think that's kind of the whole point. So if you appreciate that, hit that little subscribe button, and maybe we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. There goes another one right now.